How you going, everyone? Welcome to the new podcast, The Psilocybin Bin. This is been a project I've been thinking about for a long time, and I'm extremely excited to get it started straight away. We'll hopefully learn a couple things. Obviously, don't want this to be your news source for the week, but I mean, if it's something you want to listen to, that's cool. If it's not, that's pretty cool as well. But we're going to start the first episode here. We got one of my good friends and bloke probably won't shut up this whole time, but
come on,
it's Lincoln Waller, mate. Link, how you doing, mate?
Oh, mate, I'm doing pretty well.
It's good to
greatly
see you.
appreciate being on you.
No worries,
it's a good mate. You're a great bloke to talk to, you know. We have a great time at Lookouts doing all kinds of crazy stuff, and you know, just sitting here today, mate. It's just a pleasure speaking with you on this platform, mate.
It is, you mate. How's your lockdown been, anyway?
Look, you want me to be brutally honest with myself here?
Go on.
Like, I'm not gonna lie, bro. I don't find it the worst thing. Like, I pray for all the suffering that's going on, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But for me personally, I enjoy spending time with myself.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I'm in a position where I have more time to do that, and I think I could live in my own presence, me alone, and bear it for like a lot longer than maybe others could. That's not necessarily a good thing or a bad thing, but 100%. I feel it's just like, I don't know, like you feel very comfortable with yourself because you're like, it's almost like you're like two people and one of you knows the other person. It's like you perceive your life from like an outsider's perspective. So it's like...
When you're in lockdown, you reckon?
Well, no, all the time. There's like a consciousness
right.
where you there's a relationship between you and yourself, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like two separate entities. So, and you're very comfortable with who the other person is, and there's like mutual compassion there.
You mean like you're different like when you're at home as opposed to when you're going out? What do you mean?
Well, no, so like everything you're doing, you assess your own decisions, like, and your own perceptions and your own,
like your own
responses to situations. Yeah. So you're like analysing yourself, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's almost like you're analysing an external like concept or thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like you're looking at your life through a lens, through like a glass door, you know?
And what's the correlation with lockdown?
Well, like you can spend more time doing that.
Oh, right.
Like you have more time with yourself.
Yeah,
You spend a lot more time with yourself, and eventually you just come. Oh, man. I'm just comfortable personally, bro. It's probably because I'm a little bit of an introvert.
Oh.
But I don't know. Extroverts might feel the opposite. So I don't know if I'm an introvert. I'm probably somewhere in between, but just sometimes.
I don't mind the lockdown either, and I
it's
like
good,
being by myself. And my family, like obviously I haven't seen them in ages, so to see them for like 3 weeks at a time is just like mad at this time of the year as well. It's pretty good, bro. Like I was planning on coming up till Christmas because obviously I'm in Canberra.
Yeah, right.
But to see the family, like, you forget how like.
Right, but you're not gonna come back here till Christmas.
No, I was gonna do maybe like a couple weekends, but that was it.
Yeah, what the bro? I wasn't gonna see you for a year.
Yeah, I know. Sorry. Sorry, bro. Nah, but I'll be back here next year, so it's calm. But anyway, so what we were talking about before the podcast, what was it?
Okay, so just our first question or topic.
Yeah.
We're actually just randomly talking about it before we started this episode about half an hour ago, and I was talking about. It was just a random thought. To what extent should free speech exist? And it's just like it's such a stigmatizing and polarizing issue. That's kind of like divided.
Yeah, it's not black and white. Like people say there should be free speech or there shouldn't. Like I don't think it's that simple. You know what I mean? There's like a grey area. It's like.
Well, I guess the grey, the grey area in this context is hate speech. You know what I mean? That is the grey area.
That's a black area, no?
Well, it's that's where there's debate. The grey area. That's what's not decided on. Whether, because some people, I guess it's a more extreme opinion to believe that absolutely everything that can be said can be legal and should be allowed under all states of authority. I guess do you reckon that's extremism? I don't know. I think there's a lot of people that Tom Gordon.
Yeah.
Fuck, I just name called Tom Gordon. Oh well. If Tom Gordon, if you listen to this, hope you're well, mate.
How you doing, Tom?
But he said he's very.
Right, this isn't. You're not saying Tommy's got like extremist.
No.
Oh, sweet.
But he's very pro free speach. I don't know if he doesn't believe. I don't know if he believes that hate speech.
Yeah, I don't mind
shouldn't
that.
be a
If
thing.
you want free speech, for sure. I can get that.
All free speech?
I don't completely agree. No. But I understand people that do.
Yeah.
Like, I understand where they're coming from.
I'm definitely more pro free speech than some states at the moment. Like particularly, like I don't know. There's been a lot of speculation about the Canada, like the bill what was the bill? C-16. I read it. I'm trying to remember
What was it? Yeah, explain it.
Yeah. Okay. So 1 sec.
You're right.
I just have to make sure I know what I'm talking about here.
Yeah, we're not spreading
We're trying not to spread misinformation.
Not Fox News over here.
Yeah. You see, so Bill's C-16.
Yeah.
So obviously it was made pretty popular by Jordan Peterson from the University of Toronto. And it was speculated, he was claiming pretty much that the bill was going to inhibit people from having any kind of, so like with the pronouns and everything.
Mm-hmm. He's pretty.
If you called someone by the wrong pronoun, you'd be considered they'd be considered like a hate crime.
A bigot, yeah.
Yeah, you'd be facing court for hate speech and all kinds of other stuff.
Right.
Which is interesting, like, because that's what he claimed. That's one part. Then I actually read the bill after I heard these things, because I was like, oh my god, really? And it turned out that he'd inflated the balloon a little bit.
So to speak.
Yeah.
So to speak. Yeah.
There's remnants of what he said, but it's not really like, if you accidentally call someone a she, like, you're not going to go to prison for 10 years. Like, it's a proper, like, hate crime. Like, you consider it pretty vehement and pretty, extremist and just like crazy, you know what I mean? Like, it's like outside of the realm of regularity.
Wait, so what was his role in this law? That was his proposition.
Jordan Peterson?
Yeah.
No, he made it popular. He was talking about all the fucking the kids with rich parents watching all these videos on YouTube.
He doesn't like the social justice warriors, does he?
Nah, he doesn't.
He hates them.
Bro, I saw this thing. I'm pretty sure it was legit. And it was Jordan Peterson. He did like the political compass test.
Yeah.
And he took the test and he was like lib-left, bro.
Really?
Yeah, he was like only slightly lib-left. How funny is that? He was like slightly more lib than he was left, I think. It was so funny, bro.
You know, when he was younger, he used to be like a communist, like loved communism and shit.
That's like Thomas Sowell, bro. I think I've talked to you about Thomas Sowell.
Thomas Sowell. How do you spell it, the last name?
Sowell.
Is he the white supremacist who lives in Australia? Oh no, that's Sewell. There's a Thomas Sewell. He's the head of
Joel Sewell.
maybe the Proud Boys in Melbourne, I think.
Yeah. Victoria and Queensland, mate.
Yeah.
They're just full of bigots, mate.
What?
Nah, not really. We might have to edit that out. No, much more so in like North Queensland with the Catamount and Hanson. Hanson was up at the Supercars on the weekend, mate. Good to see him.
Pauline.
Townsville or something.
Shout out to Pauline.
Made the trip out to some hole up in North Queensland.
Good on it.
If you're from North Queensland and you listen to this,
yeah, shout out.
Just move to Darwin or something, mate. Like,
Wait, alright. So I want to talk about drugs with you, Lincoln Waller.
Drugs. Yeah, I've never done drugs. I signed a signature when I was 12 years old to tell myself I was never going to do drugs, and I've stuck to that. I don't know what you're laughing about the day since. Yeah.
Nah, but I want to talk about it in general, mate. We've had a lot of hot discussions lately on this topic.
I think the world's had a lot of hot conversations.
Yeah, it has. You see that Sha'Carri Richardson got got banned from the Olympics?
But bro, the funniest part is she got banned for a month.
Yeah, it just happened to
be
during
She got banned for a month.
Yeah,
that's her little leg.
Sure, they can delay that till after the Olympics.
That's so fucked. How big of a handle do you reckon the CIA have on all these organisations? I'd say a little bit. I'd say at least a little bit.
For sure.
I think they'd have more leveraging power that people would want to accept. But we're not going to go into that. I'm not going to turn this into an episode of Alex Jones. Yeah. I'm not going to do that. I'm not just going to say wild shit for the scare factor. I want to keep it legitimate here. I'm not turning this into, as Boags said, it's like your 24-hour news source. So
yeah, exactly.
Again, don't be taking any of this. This could all be false information. You could be completely fooled. So it's just a matter of whether you want to believe it or not.
But yeah, the thing was with Richardson, her mother died that week, and she was using that shit to like obviously help her deal with it. And they still
her mother dies like no, I can't.
Fuck. And the pot was like less. It was more than more than 4 days old.
So cooked. Yeah, bro.
Not like she smoked a do before the race or anything. That would be a good idea. I would fucking do.
Bro, on all levels, bro. I follow a few. Admittedly, I follow a few like Marxist accounts on Instagram just for the hell of it. And I'm just like, oh my god.
Some of them are pretty interesting, but.
Interesting, you reckon?
Some of the Marxist pages.
I reckon
interesting.
I reckon there's some that are interesting. I reckon the proper Marx like social media, like on Facebook as well. Are you on some of the Facebook groups, like the
Yeah,
marches?
yeah. I'm on like Socialist, Anarchist and that one. They're pretty good, bro. They have some good shit. But a lot of it I look at, I'm like, come on, like.
Yeah, it's pretty
really,
crazy,
like,
bro. Full
really
defending
shit.
up. Like, this is a political opinion here,
Yeah.
so don't take your
Yeah.
don't copy my political opinions because I'm probably ill-informed as well. But as far as I'm concerned, as
Just
far
a
as
bloke,
all
just a
evidence
bloke.
goes, after reading, I reckon a total of 7 hours worth of documents, I have a hard belief that China are guilty of what they're accused of. The Uruguays and everything that's happening in the camps over there. I'm convinced. They're not CIA puppets. They're UN approved research bodies who have gone over there and looked at satellite footage from close quarters and understood not everything but a good portion of what they're doing and probably more.
Yeah.
That's not in plain sight.
What are they taking children away from their family?
Okay.
Is that what they were doing?
Yeah,
Okay,
no,
what about
it's like, I would call it secondary genocide. So I reckon, just for the safety of the pod, I reckon we don't go into the details about this because I don't want to get in the bad side of the Chinese government. They're probably listening to this right now.
Go on,
Before
mate. You have my permission.
Huh?
You have my permission
Permission of what?
to delve deep. To delve deep into this.
Okay, I'm
want.
no, but for my sake, I'm still gonna step in. I'm gonna step.
What, you think they're watching you, bro?
Well, mate, China. You understand how powerful China are, mate. Like, nah, no, still not. I'm not to that extent, but it's just like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to say everything that I've read about China, like in this. Like, it's pretty gruesome and it's horrifying. And I just really don't want to. I don't want to provoke for the sake of the listeners. Like, I don't want to provoke anything. Or I don't want. Like,
what's the general thing that they are actually trying to do? Like, what's their goal?
Well, their goal is like secondary genocide. So it's like you could kind of, okay, not fully, but you could like kind of compare it to the cultural genocide of the Indigenous Australians.
Right.
And the legitimate genocide in small parts of Tasmania.
But I thought, wasn't the deal you want to take the kids away from their family, you kick the family out of the country, and then it's a pure Chinese community? I thought that's what was happening.
Yeah, well, I'll just say, they're organ harvesting and stuff as well.
I did read that. That's fucked.
Yeah. So it's pretty grim. Like,
You sure that was real though?
Yeah.
You
I'm pretty convinced.
You back your sources?
Mate, I'm not just here. I'm not sitting on the couch listening to Kendall Wild talk, mate. You know, I'm not taking a piece.
Blame you if you did.
I'll probably be a bit of an interesting person if I did, mate. Probably a lot different to what I am now, mate.
You would be interesting, mate. Very.
Yeah, but you said you wanted to talk about drugs, mate. We completely went off course then.
Well, I wanted to talk about. Have you heard of MAPS in the US? You heard of Rick Doblin?
No.
Fuck, I've not mentioned it. Oh, interesting. Yeah, so he works MAPS. It's called, what is it? Multidisciplinary Association for Psychedelic Studies, which was founded in 1986. Anyway, so they're doing psilocybin, magic mushrooms for PTSD. Right, they're trying to treat. They're in the trial stage. They're in the third phase, which is like the last phase. If this one goes well, it could be. They reckon by. Hang on, 1 second, dude. 1 second. If the data from our phase 3 studies approves safety and efficacy, we anticipate FDA-approved prescription use of MDMA-assisted psychotherapy for PTSD in late 2022 or 2023.
Yeah, I've seen this. Hey.
Yeah, and
had some groundbreaking research.
They did, bro. And the statistics of fucking PTSD in America is like some next level, like crazy shit, bro. And the drugs and the percentage of drugs that work that help their PTSD. Was it 60? Was it like? I don't want to get this number wrong. Yeah.
But do you know the number of this? Otherwise, we'll search it up and make sure we get it right.
Yeah.
I think it was like 67. It was either 57 or 67% of patients that they use MDMA for PTSD for.
Right.
Were efficient. Is efficient a word?
Yeah. I don't know. Is it a word?
Efficacy, efficient.
I don't know.
I think it is. But
yeah, so he said this is from their website as well, MAPS. So this was in the phase 2 study. 56% of subjects no longer met the diagnosis for PTSD, and then they had a 12-month follow-up where they checked like how they're doing and shit. Yeah, and at that stage, that number went up to 67%. So 12 months after they finished the studies, 67% of the people
Yeah,
had
that's what I
PTSD. Yeah,
67%.
right.
Yeah,
And then of the remaining 33, most showed significant reductions
pretty crazy.
in PTSD symptoms. Yeah, it's fucked, bro. And the thing is with this, because a lot of like Republicans and kind of more conservative people are into it because it's like the army, right? It's the military. It's people, like a lot of people that are on the right of this of the
Yeah, they're
political
parochial. They're so parochial.
yeah, they're pro like military, like love their military and shit. So if they can, if the people that are like Rick Doblin and stuff, if they can appeal to that like crowd, that's going to help them heaps. And I think they will easily do it because it's for PTSD and like mostly in like from military.
Yeah, it's actually very these drugs get.
It's just it's just fucked how it gets political, you know.
Yeah, it's just like.
I just hate how it has to get political.
The war on drugs and the prohibition
Yeah.
of drugs in the 60s and in the 70s. It's just, it was a cultural war, bro.
And we're feeling the fucking after effects, aren't we, bro?
Yeah. It's
well, sort of. We still have access to some decent stuff, but still.
Some lemonade, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. I thought we were on the same page there,
Might
mate.
be enough, mate. But yeah.
Spin up.
Yeah, we feel the aftershock, mate.
For sure. Alright, so the next question I was going to ask you, brother, was
bro.
just for the listener's sake, who do you reckon you're going to get on your show in the future? Who are you going to have a chat with?
Oh shit, mate! I want to make it some interesting people. You know, you're a very interesting bloke, Lincoln.
I appreciate it, mate.
Very peculiar in your own way.
Peculiar,
but
mate.
I think you're perfect for a podcast. You have a lot of views to share, and
Extreme.
you know your shit as well.
Yeah, I'd like to think I would.
Yeah.
I'd hope to think I'm not rambling rubbish.
Alright, don't toot your own horn, mate.
Come on. Come on.
I'm hoping to I'll get Murph on here for sure.
Yeah, 100, bro.
Dominic Murphy, shout out, son.
That'd be like a mad science episode, bro. You'd be talking about biology. And
Be like having
everything that's
Hamilton Morris
happening.
on here.
What is it?
Be like having Hamilton Morris on here.
Hamilton Morris, yeah.
The Australian version of Hamilton Morris.
I reckon Murph, in like 4 or 5 years, he's going to know heaps about synthesis for all kinds of stuff and heaps of stuff about botany and whatnot.
Yeah, Murph's a hell smart bloke, hey.
Yeah, bro, Murph, he tried alright hard for HSC, but he got like full, like 96, it was just like full, like, yeah.
So, whatever, bro.
Bro, I would have been, Murph must be gassed, bro. I think he wasn't expecting it.
Oh, I reckon he knew what he was doing, man.
Nah, I think I asked him, he was like, what do you reckon you wanted to get? I was like, I would have been happy with like low 90s. Like, who cares about ATAR, but
Hey.
it literally actually doesn't matter.
Bro,
if you're out there bragging about your ATAR stuff, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, get rid of that shit, bro.
Coming out, bro. No, I've seen people like bragging about their ATARs at you.
Yeah, like it fucking means it. I can't
Crazy,
even remember
bro.
mine. I can't remember if I got 68, 63 or 67.
Bro, have you seen people walking around their year 12 jumpers at uni?
Yeah, bro.
Oh
when
my
I first
God,
got
bro.
down there.
Oh my god.
Wait,
bro.
give them a break. They're
Come
just
on.
reliving the days, man.
Come
Bro,
on.
as if I miss high school like crazy.
Whoa. Who was that, bro?
It's just my brother.
What's he doing, bro?
What is he doing?
Idiot, bro.
Should we invite him in?
Yeah,
In a bit,
yeah, it'll be.
Fuck, what are we talking about? Oh, about Murph? No.
Yeah, then we're talking.
Oh, yeah, about high school, bro. That's what we're talking
What are we talking about?
High school, bro. Do you not miss high school?
Yeah, I reckon it was a good time. It was like.
We didn't get that end of high school experience either with COVID. That was cool. Like, we got sort of like part of it.
Yeah.
And then that big fucking surge came over Christmas.
What, COVID?
Yeah.
In the beaches, yeah, the fat cluster. I was inside that bubble, bro.
What do you mean?
North, like the
Oh,
people
yeah,
were,
they made that. What was that all about? That was pretty
Yeah.
ridiculous. Just thinking about that.
It's like East and West Germany, bro.
Yeah, dead set.
I reckon that's more extremes than East and West Germany.
Oh, you guys would have been on it. Was like north-south though.
Yeah, I was literally like, it was only like 100 meters. I was 100 meters
Yeah.
above the border. How cool is that?
Yeah, that's
I was 100 meters.
That's cracked, eh? I don't know, yeah. Because there was a big cluster in Avalon, that's right.
Yeah, great, because that couple went up there.
Was it the couple though? I thought that was bullshit. I read somewhere that was not.
It's probably the Daily Telegraph trying to defend all the white people, man.
Yeah, all the old rich white blokes from fucking Palm Beach.
Classic, bro.
Nah. Rupee.
Boy, okay, in saying that, I genuinely disagree that there's like a media race war. I don't agree to that. Just to put it out there.
Really?
I don't think that...
Bro, what were those stats you said the other day? Murdoch owns 37%?
37%.
Of Australia's media. That's a fucking fair chunk, bro.
It is a fair... Okay, so...
Because you got the Daily Telegraph. I think he owns Channel 9. Does he own Channel 9? Look that up. Pull that up, Jamie. You ever done DMT? Classic cunt. Yeah, what was it? 37%?
I'm finding the...
Did you say? That's a lot. Wait, you disagree that he doesn't have that much of an impact?
No, he does, for sure. Hold up.
Bro, almost 40% of the media, if you own all that. If one person owns 40% of the media, that is not healthy.
Oh, absolutely not, bro.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. This is like undebatable, but this is kind of my opinion. So I think there's obviously all the Murdoch's platforms, Korea Mail, Daily Telegraph, Sky, etc., etc. But if you compare, I think the majority, quick math, 63%, is it? Yeah, the remaining 63%, I think, is for the majority pretty, like, either, like, more left-leaning or, like, fairly central. I don't think many right-wing media organisations exist outside of Murdoch. There are a couple. I'm trying to think of one. Obviously, there's like informal media platforms run by fuckwits wearing all kinds of weird stuff. But
could be funded by one of Murdoch.
Yeah, potentially. Imagine that, bro. Imagine that was revealed.
Yeah, he's supporting like the Proud Boys and shit.
Yeah, it's pretty like.
That'd be fucked.
How old's Murdoch now, bro?
He'd be almost dead for sure.
He's bloody old, bro.
He is old, hey? My dad's got a book about him, it's pretty good.
You reckon he's a good bloke, or?
I don't know. No.
Who knows?
Can't say I do. I have this weird tendency to hate really rich white people. Not white people, but just rich people. I'm not starting a fucking race.
Spanish, bro.
But like white, no, not white, like rich.
That's what I'm going to call you from now on, Beale and Boagsy.
Beale and Boagsy, no.
Nah, fair play to you, mate, fair play to you.
I just have this weird, like, oh, come on.
And
they
I
come out
agree.
and whinge when they're like rich and old, like.
The billionaires and whatnot.
What are you whinging about?
The billionaires are easy to hate because
Yeah,
obviously they optimise all the tax loopholes, which is ultimately detrimental to
people are going to hate
greater
you
society.
if you do shit like that, obviously.
Look, this isn't a left wing communist podcast, alright? But we're just talking about fundamental ideas that should be followed too by any kind of bite of ethics. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Billionaires and these things happen. Trickle down economics is true to an extent, I believe, but you got to play fundamental principles as well. Not necessarily a full welfare state, but like an incentive welfare state. You know what I mean, brother?
I don't know, mate. I just have this weird like.
Yeah, no, I'll perfectly understand.
Or do you?
But the thing is, many of the billionaires have broken big laws and treated
exactly.
Like even Musk and
Found
obviously
loopholes
Bezos, well documented.
Obviously, like Epstein, bro.
Probably where my hatred comes from, blokes like Epstein, so rich and powerful, better than everyone, they think,
So crap.
And he's definitely not the only one. Like this.
Yeah, they put you all in, bro.
Tom Hanks was like on one of the flights.
Crazy.
If Tom Hanks came out, I'd probably cry, bro. I love that bloke.
There was like I think there was an alleged thing that happened. I don't know what happened, but apparently there was something alleged. Okay, I'm not gonna say his name, but a person from when we were in year 12, someone told me that he'd done something, and he was like while he was in Australia, then he fled to somewhere.
What was this like?
Apparently,
guy
this
we
is
know.
like fully. I just heard this from one
A
person.
guy we know, or
Yeah,
oh
in
really?
year 12. Yeah,
Yeah, don't
you wouldn't
give away
take
that
everything he
info.
says for truth,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like
Tells us
I
his
think
first
I don't
one.
think he was taking the piss. So
Interesting.
well,
That's one way to go.
we might have to come back to this one. We might have to do some research on this one.
Just flee the country. I was listening to this true crime podcast.
Yes.
This Indian dude in Cairns, like on a remote beach, like murdered this woman and then fled like the next day. Before they realised it was him, like got to America. That happened like 4 years ago, and he hasn't been extradited or even arrested or anything.
Do they know where he is?
They know roughly where he is, but they can't really do any. Australia can't really do anything unless the like Indian government agrees with them. He hasn't even
He
been
escaped
arrested
to
yet.
India.
Yeah, he fled to India.
Yeah, what?
And then they realised, like, they found out, I don't know, through DNA or something, a couple of days later who it was, but then by the time they realised he was fucking halfway in Baghdad or fucking Punjab. Yeah, so...
Is he still up there?
Yeah, he's still in
Crazy.
India.
That's the thing between transnational jurisdictions, bro.
Yeah, it's
It's a rough
interesting,
one.
interesting
Um,
subject. You heard this bloke, Jock Paul Freeman?
No, who's that
He
again?
did him in legal studies. He's an Aussie guy in
Bulgaria.
apparently wrongly convicted for murder.
Yeah.
That was like probably almost a decade ago, and then he just got released like a couple of days ago. He's getting extradited back here.
Yeah, bro, crazy stuff. But yeah, full escape. You know much.
Dodgy, bro, going like Eastern Europe, like when you're a...
Bro, do you know much about the Melbourne
Backpacker.
Gangland Wars?
Don't, mate, I don't.
So it was pretty much this phase between 1996 and the mid 2000s, where I think it's 31 people were just like shot as a result of a gangland war.
How many? 31?
Yeah.
Holy shit, that's a
Ja-
fair few.
yeah, 31. I'll double check that figure. But yeah, Jason Moran got shot at his son's footy game. Pretty sinister, bro.
Was
Yeah,
it
but,
a random attack, or was it he was in a gang, it was gang related?
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
he got shot gang related.
So they were all
yeah.
gang related deaths. Like,
Yeah.
It wasn't just a random
Yeah.
shooting.
There's some scallywags in, bro. Benji Veneman. Yeah, obviously Carl Williams was like the main.
Bro, do you reckon with that much violence, it's almost better just saying fucking let him go?
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
because you put other people at risk if you try to track them down and then
That's true.
something happens. You know what I mean? Because they're not going to kill like random civilians. If they're not going to see you and me walking down the street.
Yeah, but it can ruin a lot of people's lives seeing that happen. And
Oh yeah,
ruin a lot of people's, like their families' lives. Obviously, like murder should still be considered murder.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even if it's not like
Same
murder,
with
should,
war
in all
crimes.
instances we can't.
Same with war crimes. Where do you draw the line with war crimes? You know.
That was actually one of our topics, wasn't
It
it?
was, mate. Ben Roberts Smith.
Crazy.
Fucking interesting case.
Very interesting.
very, very interesting.
Well, obviously, we were talking about this the other day when we were down at Thingo and down at Dobroyd. Like, the development of this kind of psychology, it's not necessarily inevitable, but it's probable in these kind of environments where you're just afflicted with brutalities every day.
Yeah.
And you're living in such a state where...
It's been your life for the past.
Yeah. And it's, I think,
15.
I've never been in the army, I've never been in the Defence Force, but I
Yeah.
think if I was in, like, if you look at the percentage of ex-military that come back and they're, end up having PTSD or some kind of mental disorder that's related to PTSD, like Alzheimer's I think is prevalent as well. When it's just like, I completely forgot.
Yeah, we're for all the listeners, we're somewhat under the influence. I'm not going to say of what, obviously, for legal reasons, but
Nah, I'm just on the green tea, mate.
yeah, mate.
The green tea.
Pretty much just gave it away, but sure.
Nah.
Ben Roberts Smith. When I was reading that, I couldn't believe it.
Crazy, bro.
And they gave him the Victoria Cross. I was like, fuck, like the chick claimed he had punched her.
Yeah, I saw that.
That
as
was
well.
like 60 witnesses to be called to the trial. The trial's supposed to be on at the moment. It's gone for 10 weeks, but it got like delayed.
Was
'cause
there
of COVID.
footage of it?
I don't know. But 60 witnesses That's a lot. That's a lot of people, mate. That's
lot
not
of
messing around. That's not like one cracked up bloke going like high on meth, just going, yeah, I think you shot that little Arab kid. Like, there's not like that at all.
Yeah.
Like, it's 60 people. That's a lot of
people.
fucking eyewitnesses.
It's a terrible situation.
Yeah, and then they planted the evidence in his backyard. He did.
Crazy.
Ben Roberts.
Yeah, they're always going to come down on a guy like Ben Roberts-Smith pretty hard,
Yeah.
regardless of the circumstances.
If it's not true, I feel fucking terrible that he had to go through
60
that.
witnesses isn't bad, you know, like,
It's a lot
I
of
wouldn't
people.
be surprised if that's too much for him.
That's a lot. Well, the thing is, this is a civil case. This is he's suing SMH, The Age, and the Canberra Times for false articles about his war crimes.
Yeah.
So if he loses his spray, he's just brought it upon himself.
Basically.
And that'll probably, if he loses his case, that'll probably lead to a
He
like a
literally just
legal
brought
case.
attention
Like,
to himself.
yeah, exactly. He just put himself out in the open pretty
Because
much.
obviously, I knew before,
Yeah.
but like still, Ben Roberts-Smith is still relevant because of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I just...
Not relevant
he's
in a
just
good
risking
way,
it.
because
He's
obviously
really
he's accused of
risking
very grimy things.
Very much risking it. So the point is the SMH, The Age, and the Canberra Times, they have to prove that what they wrote in the articles actually did happen. So if they can prove that and he loses this case...
I mean, it legally
Right.
proves he did
Exactly, he's up for a legal case. It's pretty like... He's got some balls, that bloke, I tell you. He's got a massive one.
I've kind of been following the trial, but...
Yeah, what happened? It's only a couple of weeks in, isn't it?
Yeah, some shit like that. Probably be a while, to be honest. Probably drag on.
Yeah, it says here it's supposed to go up to 10 weeks. At least 10 weeks. It's a lot. It's a pretty long trial.
Yeah, it is a very long trial.
Well, that's not... There's been like in fucking 9-month ones and
How
stuff.
long was OJ's?
I don't know.
It was a while.
Some cases go on for like years. Oh, lovely.
Yeah, so OJ Simpson's trial was 11 months. I
Wow.
was going to say 10, but it was actually 11. I just want to make sure, but I would have got it wrong anyway. But yeah, 11 months,
Wow.
which is quite a long time.
10 weeks is hell long.
That'd be crazy. Like, that's so much time just because you can spend up to like a year in court, and then if you're put on death row, bro, people just sit on death row for like 25
I
years.
know. People are still there. Like all these serial killers are still just chilling on death row. They get treated pretty well.
Yeah, death row is apparently good.
Prisoners say, not that I'm mates with any blokes on bloody
Oh, you
death
sure,
row.
mate? For the sake of the podcast, I reckon
Oh, yeah.
he actually
Not
does.
disclosing that.
He's not
That's
disclosing it. He's not associating himself with anyone.
What was I saying?
I'm talking about death row, how base it is.
Oh yeah, they get treated like if a prisoner. Some prisoners choose like death row over like life in prison.
Yeah,
'Cause
so
you get treated pretty well because they're like, you're gonna die. You know, may as well just treat you like a normal bloke. And they get good. They get better food than the normal.
I
prisoners.
reckon I'd see how it go. Nah, I'd definitely go the death sentence.
What
I
would you?
reckon.
Would you do death sentence or life?
I'd see how life goes for like.
I would do the death sentence because you still get another, I reckon, probably 15, 20 years. You can just
It's actually chill. Eh?
kick back, read books, like, just you become the smartest bloke to ever live.
Bro, prison
And
isn't
then
a
just
great
die.
place.
Well, I guess then you just die. You wouldn't do anything with that knowledge.
Yeah, it's just like
Mm.
with
Interesting.
very interesting. It's like I don't know. Yeah, obviously it would be a better living standard, but I think is it the kind of situation? I think that this is at least the way in Australia. Like obviously the worst perpetrators get 23 in one, meaning 23 hours in a cell and 1 hour out of a cell, heavily provisioned. So that's what your eye from the lights were on.
Go insane.
Yeah, I reckon it'd be tough. I think I'd want to, if I could like start doing a life sentence and then transfer to a death sentence, because I'd want to see just for a month what it'd be like, and then when I actually get in death row, I'd actually be good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'll be like going in the pool and it's really cold. It'd be like going in the pool and it's really cold, and then getting in the spa, mate. You know what I mean? Going on death row probably can't be compared to a spa.
Well, mate, it's not far behind.
Not far behind, mate.
Not at all.
Yeah, wait, the last meals, bro, what would you get?
Wait, one second. I'm just going to open that window. It's getting pretty hot in here, eh?
Yeah, getting a bit nippy. I mean, the opposite nippy.
What would I get for my last meal? Fuck. Oh, maybe a kebab
Kebab.
or a snack pack with a bit of aioli, bit of barbecue, and maybe even some hot chili on top of that, and a big ass milkshake.
Big ass
That'd be a
milkshake.
good way to go. And some pot brownies or some shit.
Imagine you could actually do that, bro.
That'd be mad. That's actually, they should do that in like the US. In all the legal states where there's the death penalty.
All drugs,
Like you can have pot brownies for your last meal.
federally prohibited and not so in the case of a last meal
Bro, I'd drop
situation.
like, I don't know, like LSD before dying. Before going on death row. Like before being put on the chair, mate.
Going on a DMT trip as you
Yeah.
die. That'd be
And then
crazy.
you like double the dose when you die.
Oh yeah, damn. We were talking about this before, weren't
Yeah.
we? Apparently DMT, it like we obviously
I
store
wanna
it in our
look this
bodies
up.
and it's released when we die.
I want to see if I'm just talking pure shit.
Well,
or...
none of us are scientists
yeah.
or anything to do with scientists. We might have to ask our friend Murph. Wait, should we call Murph?
Bring him into it for an expert opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on.
I'll see if he's around.
We'll hope the bloke picks up.
Look, he might be working at Domino's tonight, but we'll see if we can get in touch with him.
Of course, mate, of course.
Alright, let's see if he picks up.
We'll give him a crack. Phone a friend, mate. Phone a friend. Come on, son.
So we're just trying to get Don Murphy on the line here. He may or may not pick up, but we're just trying to get an expert opinion here on the DMT and its relationship to our body. Don Murphy's a very interesting young man, so if he does pick up, you'll be blessed with a lot of profound scientific insights, no doubt. I'm alright. Should we just harass this bloke?
Hang on, I got an article here. This is from
Yeah.
BBC 2018. Let's just see if he picks it up. Dogging us, Murph, mate.
So dumb, bro.
Not good enough. Anyway, so this is the BBC, so reasonably reliable, I would say.
Yeah, so it's not alexjones.com.
Yeah. A new scientific study suggests strong similarities between near-death experiences and the psychedelic drug. Oh, it's near-death experiences. Interesting.
So you like visualize near-death experiences.
Right. Wow.
Go down. Is that a DMT visual?
Not sure, mate.
Well, I don't know what else would be actually
Define
fried.
it for ourselves. Interesting. So it's near-death experiences. I thought it was like death, but it's interesting, mate.
Very interesting, mate.
So I guess if you want to have a DMT trip, just get someone to knock your head with a hammer or something, and then call an ambulance right away, or someone.
So, look, they could die in that situation, but
Yeah, you take
if they
a
make it
risk.
out alive, it's probably worth the trip.
If you're that desperate, if you don't have $20,
Yeah, yeah. If you really fanning a big trip of
if you're out of cash.
the DMT, mate.
Oh, mate. How are you
Yeah,
anyway,
mate.
Lincoln, mate? You
How am I?
You're happy, bloke. You seem happy, mate. Lately, you've been.
No, that being
Very
what, bro?
Huh?
Oh, I'm trying to think of how to answer that question.
Been working out. You've been keeping very fit, haven't you? I need to do more of that shit.
Come on,
so.
bro. Nah, it's just...
Exercise is a psychedelic drug.
It is, bro. I reckon in my... I think everyone I know thinks the same. I think exercise can be very beneficial for mental health.
Oh,
Not
for
necessarily the inevitable cure for...
Sure. 100 ladder.
But if... I think... like exercise, frequent exercise, running, lifting weights, whatever you decide to do,
Yeah.
can be very beneficial for someone who's facing, like a chemical imbalance.
Oh, yeah.
Even if it's not
100%.
fully like an absolute option, it has the potential to be very beneficial.
Yeah,
I reckon
it's underrated, mate. Exercise, it's underrated.
it depends who you ask, because lots of people like exercising, I think lots of, like, if you ask a general person, like, I don't think I'd ask 100 people whether they like exercise and 90 would say fuck
Well,
no.
no, that'd be the wrong question. I don't really like exercising. I'm not like, get out of bed, I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna go fucking exercise, I'm gonna feel so good. I usually just stay and have a few. Anyway, I don't particularly enjoy exercising, but I see that it's something you have to do. Right, especially as you get older.
Sometimes I do think, I look ahead to the future, and I look at some of my dad's age, and I'm like, mate, if I'm going to be 60,
your dad's
and
pretty fit,
I'm going to have to be fit for a long time.
That bloke, he runs a lot, your dad, doesn't he?
He runs a fair bit. He's had some problems with his Achilles and whatnot, so he's got that sorted now, and he's back running again.
Oi.
I might have to go for a run with Big Kendall at door.
Mate. I'll come join you.
Yeah, come join us, lad.
Oh, jokes. I think
We'll start doing it,
I'm busy for the next 2 weeks.
Doing what?
When you're exercising.
Oh, and on the exact days. Rearranging your sock drawer.
Yeah, right. No, I need to get this tooth fixed. I've still got the cracked tooth.
Yeah, it looks pretty classic, bro. Are there many photos of you with a cracked tooth?
Not enough, mate. Not enough.
Folks, your hair's looking very long.
It is, mate.
Do you want to go us through that one and just the process?
What do you mean?
When's the level?
Tell us the story. It's not cultural appropriation, everyone.
He's called. No, okay. If you're out here listening to this, it is your moral obligation to cancel this man on Twitter. Boags is over party. Boags is over party. Or Skippy's over party.
The next Chrissy Teigen, mate.
Yeah, bro. She's been in a bit of hot water. I don't want to turn this into an episode.
Cancel culture, mate. It's an interesting.
Okay.
That's what we were talking about before.
Look, obviously it's easy to be like, I hate cancel culture, but because I originally had the opinion that I was pretty anti-cancel culture, but then a few months later I kind of thought about the concept, and I really tried to develop my understanding of it, and ultimately I think in about half the situations where someone is cancelled, I don't think you can define like being cancelled, but if we're talking about this as like a cultural nuance, not many people have like genuinely
there's no definition.
There's no defining characteristic necessarily.
Yeah.
Like how much hate or how many tweets against this person is considered that person, the comments directed at to be cancelled. You know what I mean? But like when these things happen, you know, it's just like I think 50% of the time, the people who are being cancelled are responsible for that, at least being held accountable for their actions. So I believe in some aspect it's positive.
Yeah.
So, if, for example, Mark Kozilek, who's an indie guitarist, I don't know if anyone out there knows who Mark Kozilek is. You might know him from Sun Kill Moon as well. He got alleged.
Yeah, he's mates with Jason Crozier.
I don't want to. Yeah. So he got.
Yeah. I'm listening.
About to say a word. I don't want to. I want to disclaim.
What's the word?
I want to disclaim it before I say the word RAPE. But like.
He was a sexual assault. Say sexual assault.
Yeah,
you can say it. It's not like you're the one committing the crime.
Yeah, but it's like...
But he was
okay. So, recently, this guy called Mark Kozilek, who's an indie guitarist, I don't know, you know, if anyone out there knows him, might know from Sun Kill Moon as well, but he was alleged of doing some pretty sinister stuff to women. I won't go into details. Some pretty dark business.
Disgusting stuff.
Yeah, and like he's kind of been cancelled from the indie community.
Oh yeah,
because
you hope blokes like that would get.
Exactly. You know what I mean.
That's where it's a positive.
So that's where it's that's what I'm saying. But there was that English cricketer who said something like,
"Oh, Ollie Robinson, yeah."
I think that's pretty harsh.
Shout out to Ollie, doing it tough, my boy. But that was ridiculous. He sent tweets when he was was it 17 or 18?
He was like 17, 18.
And like that was.
I think one of them
mates in all of them. Like, come on, like really. You're going to destroy... He just made his test debut, got like 4 wickets, scored like 50 runs, and you're just going to cancel him, and you're just going to say, oh, because you said this dumb shit when you were 17, we're going to suspend you for the next 3 months.
Who put on the sanction? Was it the ICC?
No, it was ECB, the England...
So what's the ban?
I think it was 4 matches or something. But he immediately got dropped from the... He was playing for England.
That's fucked. Yeah, I know. I saw that. It would be bad for the guy, man. Like one of them was like remotely racist, and you know, he shouldn't have said it.
It was stereotypical.
It wasn't anything like extremist.
The suspended element of Robinson's ban, equivalent to 5 matches, will stay on his record for 2 years. So he can play county cricket, obviously.
But he can't play for England for 2 years.
For 2 years.
That's fucked, bro.
What? 8-match ban, which is 2 years, they reckon. Which is that's about right, I think.
Eight matches for England.
Yeah.
Do you reckon they play 8 matches?
8 test matches. So, well, how many do you play a year?
But can you play ODI?
I'm not sure.
Because if it's ODI, if it's all formats, how many games have they been playing a year? A fair few.
Well, I think they don't play too many test matches a year.
Boags, do you like cricket?
Mate, alright.
I don't know.
The way I see cricket... Alright, stay with me here. Bear with me, right?
Alright, I'll hear you out.
So, cricket, tennis and jiu-jitsu are all linked, in my opinion.
Yeah, go on.
Because what it is, it's movements with your body. Okay? And it's just you and whatever you're doing. Jiu-jitsu, it's you and the other bloke. You just focus on what you're doing and you fucking take him down, right? Tennis, same thing. It's all about you. It's all about what you're doing, where you want to hit the ball, how hard you want to hit the ball, how fast you want to hit the ball, how fast you want to serve. And cricket's the same thing when you're batting or bowling. It's just you and what you want to do, how you're trying to set that bloke up. You can get a few away swingers and then one swinging in. And the same with the batsman. It's all mental. It's a mental game when you're batting, 100%. So all those games are linked. So much mental stuff's going on in those.
Have you thought about this
sports.
before?
And that's what I like about cricket. I hate fielding and shit, but
Yeah.
I enjoy the mental battle. Like,
what about when you took
what's
that?
the best thing the next ball you gotta
What
face?
What about when you took that catch at point to win the game to win that game at Manly Oval and Green Shield, mate?
That was one of the best moments of my life, mate. It was
You
a good
reckon?
time.
Yeah, that was beast, bro. I remember watching that. I was so fat. Then you gave that batsman a massive spray.
Yeah.
If that batsman's listening out there, shout out to
Yeah.
you, bro.
Yeah, you played a
You
very,
dropped the
very
game.
good
You dropped
innings.
the game for your team. Just unfortunate,
big
mate.
fella, I don't know your name, but you played very, very well. That
Your
day,
team wouldn't have even had a chance without you, mate. So
Exactly.
I remember that, bro. He was a beast.
He was
Oh,
whacking
God.
them.
Just putting them away, my
I
guy.
don't know where he is now, but whatever you're up to,
Hopefully you're doing well, mate.
respect.
Who was that against? It was against
St. George? Yeah, St. George, I think.
St George or right, eh?
Yeah, they're right.
They weren't too bad.
Not too bad. The Dragons, mate.
Bro, did you prefer playing Green Shield or DCA?
Oh, Greenies, 100%.
Greenies, yeah.
It was good fun.
For sure.
What about you, mate? You into your cricket?
I don't know. I haven't played that.
Yeah.
It's like
The thing is with sports like that, when it's one-on-one...
there's other things I'd want to be doing on
Yeah,
Saturdays.
that
you know. I
and-
don't mind it, but...
Cricket's good, right? You have really good moments, but those moments are so rare. Like, it's like once a season, maybe
that's
twice
what
a
keeps
season.
you. That's what keeps you
And that's
paying.
what, that's what you play for. And it's like really like
It's draining, bro.
playing for one moment, pretty much.
If I was a beast, I'd 100% still be playing cricket. Because it'd be fun.
Yeah, if you were held
But
good
being
enough,
like an
100%.
average, being like an average medium pace bowler,
Yeah.
it's just like nothing much goes right for you. It might take a 3 for every now and again.
Yeah.
You know, like 7, 9 and 10. But that's about it, you know what I mean? Like
It's very specific, mate.
7, 9 and 10. Yeah, I've probably happened numerous times. It's probably my best career figures.
But you know what I mean?
The
That's why you
3 for
play. That's why you
45.
play, but that... Yeah, it's rare.
It is rare, mate.
It is rare.
What's your favourite format that you've played? Because obviously you've played 2 days with
2 days.
myself. I actually haven't played any. Well, I haven't played grade because I'm not playing cricket anymore.
You never played like more than 50 overs?
Or shies, huh?
Have you never played more than 50 overs a day?
Oh no, yeah, I have in park.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't.
What's
I
that,
was
70 overs a day, is it?
70 years. I remember when I was playing for Wakehurst, 75 overs a day.
Oh, no.
And I remember I bowled a 3 over spill
Really?
and batted like 9.
Oh,
I was bare young.
rough,
I was
rough,
bare
that's
young.
rough.
Dame tu cosita, dame tu cosita, ay, dame tu cosita, dame tu cosita, ay, dame tu cosita.
Yeah, so I want to start this by saying, I said the word thickened before, but with a bit of further research, I realised to my dismay that it isn't actually a legitimate word in the English language. So I apologise to everyone out there, dude. Extension to English.
Apologise to
I know
Shakespeare.
you're probably not listening now because you thought we were too dumb for you. But I said a word that doesn't exist, whatever.
It happens, mate. It happens to the best of us.
Certainly it does happen, mate. I've heard a lot of people use the word ingenuine.
That's not a word.
Not a word.
I would have, yeah, see?
The
I
word
would've
is
guessed
the
that.
word is disingenuous. Anyway, it's not going to turn this into fucking.
Really?
We're not going to turn this into one of bloody.
I did not know that, actually.
Miss Nine's classes, alright? We're just going to keep it
Ingenuine.
passive. I don't want to.
Jokes, I don't think I've ever heard someone say ingenuine.
Well, would you think that's a word?
Just the way you said it, it sounds like it should be a word.
Well, the opposite of genuine, right?
Yeah, exactly. Or ungenuine. No, that
Like,
ingenuine
possible,
sounds better
impossible.
than ungenuine. Yeah, you don't say
but
unpossible.
tangible and intangible, you know what I mean?
Yeah. English language is it's a
No, I would
tricky
hate
one.
learning English. I would hate learning English.
yeah for sure. They say it's the hardest language. The hardest language to.
Yeah, English language would be very frustrating to learn. I don't know where it ranks on like hardest
Yeah.
languages to learn, but I'm sure it would be up there. I've heard of footballers and stuff learning English that have like just absolutely hated the whole process. I can't remember names, but I can imagine there'd be a
Yeah, it
few.
would be. 100%.
I think some languages are relatively easy to learn though.
I
Apparently,
feel like if you learn English, it's easy to branch off that.
yeah, like French and
French is
Dutch.
pretty
The
similar.
European languages aren't too
Yeah.
bad.
I would love to speak French. I want to learn French.
That'd be good.
That'd be dope. That'd be mad.
Yeah, would that be the one language you'd want to learn?
Yeah, if I had to learn one, that would be it. I should learn. I should stop being a fucking lazy bloke and just learn. But
Good on you,
not
mate.
easier said than done, mate.
Yeah, you're gonna roll with it. I tried to learn like German when I was in year 6 or something.
What, like by yourself?
Yeah,
When you're in year 6?
yeah.
You're a weird kid.
Weird kid. Shut up, man.
No,
Might have
that's
been.
pretty weird, but go on.
Might have been
Pass
very
no
early,
judgment?
Year 7. Nah, you just did pass judgment, mate. Come on.
Nah, of course not.
Nah, but
You know Mel, he has an app. Shout out to Ollie Mel.
Yeah,
he's
I
a
didn't
sick
app yet.
dog. I
Does
don't
he
know
have,
what he's learning.
Edmodo? No, what's it called?
What the fuck?
No, it's like bilingual,
Edmodo.
bilingo or something.
Oh, it's like an app. Yeah, he has an app. That's a good way to do it. I'd love to learn another language. Bro, and then you could go somewhere like overseas and just like blend in pretty much. I'd love to go to France and just blend in and just talk French. Or like on here, just fucking bonjour.
That would be interesting because you could full start another life in like a country with heaps different culture.
Yeah, exactly.
And you can actually.
Bro, if
speak
you need to
language.
flee, you accidentally like murder
Yeah.
your wife. Like,
Yeah, suddenly life.
you just
Though.
flee. I
Mate,
would never
there'd
murder
be
my
some
wife.
countries you're not going a long way with just speaking English.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's not many. What is it? US, Australia, England, New Zealand. What other country is the main English-speaking language? Am I
US?
tripping or is it?
What do you mean?
I said
US, Canada. Well, there's
Oh,
French,
US,
Canadian.
Canada, yeah.
US,
I'd say
Canada.
North America.
Yeah, North America, UK, you know, all the states, Ireland, Scotland, etc.
Yeah.
Wales.
And then it's Australia,
Then
New
it's-
Zealand, no?
Well, there's some nations that have pretty like common use of English. I don't know what the
Yeah.
stats are in Russia, but I imagine there'd be a fair bit of use of English in Russia.
Yeah.
I think there would be.
Old Russia, mate. The old Soviet Union.
I think there would be a bit in Scandinavia as well. Bro, if we start about the Soviet Union, we're going to be talking like 2 hours.
We'll never stop, mate. We'll never stop. Is it, bro? I just find it so. It's like that's surely the 20th century's got to be one of the most like interesting centuries.
Yeah, like
I know a lot of
obviously.
shit happened back in the day, Napoleon and whatnot, but like Columbus and whatever. But 20th century is very interesting. It's an ideological clash, you know, between
Yeah,
two
I think so.
massive-
I think there was a lot of tension brewing.
Yeah,
Obviously, there was a lot of
crazy.
dispute about heaps of the borders in Europe preceding the war. You know, in the century century previous, like constant like land moving, shifting between.
I just
You
find
know,
it so
France,
interesting,
Germany, Hungary. I think those are the main area, and like
Yeah.
Austria as well. Just like and obviously like there's still been massive like reformulations of like states recently. Like still Yugoslavia was only like 30
Yeah,
years ago.
exactly. Yeah, there's so many new countries.
Less than 30 years ago.
North Macedonia, there's not even a Macedonia.
Yeah, it's not even because do you know why, right? It's a dispute with Greece. I don't know
Oh,
the exact
really?
details, but
So
it's
what part of
technically it's technically Greek territory, Macedonia.
Right. I've never met anyone from Macedonia.
I have.
Really? Good
Shout
bloke?
out Julian Gillespie if you're listening to this.
Jules.
I remember, he was like, went to my primary school, and bro, his cheeks were so massive. People used to like grab his cheeks.
You probably look good now though, Jules, don't worry, mate.
Nah, yeah, I reckon you're looking like a mad dog, Julie.
You've springed up.
Come out for a couple of beers, mate.
You spring up. But yeah, bro, that whole like political ideology.
Yeah,
And it's
that's
still
fair.
you still have the aftermath today, bro, with Cuba. What's happening in Cuba right now?
Well, there will be a perpetual... Bro, the influence of the Soviet Union and communism as a whole will live forever, bro.
Yeah, for sure. Bro, where does communism go now though? Cuba's, bro, I can't see that.
Well, China,
Well,
can we
communist
both
system
agree
not
that
collapsing, so-
that China's not a communist state? Bro, they're state capitalists, bro.
Yeah. Yeah.
100% state capitalists, bro.
Oh, you're right.
They're
There's too
literally
many-
they're literally definition of state capitalism.
There's too many billionaires for it to be a communist
Communist.
country. Yeah.
Australia has on the GD coefficient. Australia perform a lot better than China do.
Yeah, I would imagine.
I think Australia are 74th. It's somewhere around that. Don't take me for the actual number, but it's something around 74. And China are more like 1 point. No, so misinformation. So we'll skip this.
Yeah.
China are more like 0 point. I think like zero. Actually, the stat about Australia being 0.74 wasn't right either. So.
Spreading this misinformation,
Oh,
mate.
and this, and
It's
we'll chuck
ridiculous.
another and
It's
one on the end.
ridiculous. Nah, it's calm, bro. What were the actual stats? Do you know them, or you just?
I'm trying to remember them. Australia.
But
No,
the
no,
point
I
is-
wasn't. No, bro, I actually wasn't spreading misinformation.
Oh,
Australia were 74th.
Right.
Australia were actually, yeah.
Well, so what were China? They were more.
They were, I think, closer to 100.
Right. Okay.
So China were closer to 100 in the Gini coefficient.
Right. Interesting.
So statistically, according to the World Bank, Australia's economic equality is greater than that of a communist state.
Yeah, that's pretty.
Which
fucked.
I think is a. I'm like sitting here. I'm not a full.
Well, that just
full,
proves that that's literally. That's writing on the wall, mate. That's
like.
just proves that it's not communist, obviously.
Oh yeah, it's state capitalist, but like, I'm not here to be. I'm not pro-capitalist, but I think
Yeah.
Australia's ability to create so much wealth is, I guess, a testament to like capitalism. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it's good at one thing, it's good at creating wealth. It just depends
exactly.
who for.
Yeah.
It's
Depends who
I don't
gets
think I think it's unarguable or inarguable.
I don't know, mate. I don't know the word.
Either whichever the correct one is.
Yeah. What do you reckon? Do you reckon there'll ever be like another big communist revolution?
Oh, for sure. Yes.
I reckon what's happening
Shitting?
in America now. So I reckon some shit's gonna go down in America soon. bro.
Lot of tension. There's so
I don't know, bro, like-
much
And
polarization.
I feel like in America there's really no center. Like it's left v right, and someone's gonna win out of those two. You know what I mean? It depends who.
The
who it is.
reality is, for the most part, it's Democrats and co versus Republicans. Let's be honest. It's not really a battle between left and right.
Yeah.
It's a battle between right and
I'm
right.
talking about like the people, but
Yeah, I guess the views. I guess
Population.
the younger generations are growing conscious of.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's gonna be young v old. All the oldies are gonna be on the right, and millennials like us. A lot of them are gonna. Like, there's so many. But how many people do you meet that are like say they're communist or some shit?
Well, you met
And they're
people
like
at
our
unis.
age.
You met people at uni. So have you ever been approached by any of the socialists?
Nah, but I've seen the posters everywhere.
Yeah. Pretty interesting.
And it's got the thing that you pull out off the bottom, like so you get
Yeah.
their number,
Yeah,
and they're
right.
like all gone. So people are obviously into that shit, and I can respect it. Like,
Yeah,
I get
don't-
it. I get where they're coming from.
Yeah,
but
like I'm not going to sit here and
I don't know
discriminate.
if it's the answer.
But I just think I hope these kids are informed on what they're talking.
Yeah,
about.
exactly.
If I could actually like, if they were
Exactly.
podcastable, if I could bring them in here today and have a good conversation with them, and they
Yeah.
certainly know their
Yeah.
stuff, mate. I'm not going
Because
to.
we're hell smart. Like.
No, mate, come on, we're not that smart. We just talk shit. If we got someone in here who's read all 3 volumes of Capital and has actually made an informed opinion,
Yeah,
mate, I'd show
read
you
some books,
the
done
highest respect to that person.
watched some documentaries, fucking wrote some notes.
Yeah,
Read some
someone who
actual
actually knows like
good
the
shit,
ideologies
yeah.
and that. Because I'm pretty like I
And
try and perceive politics from like an outside view.
Yeah, I don't like to.
I don't. Yeah, that's I don't. It's called parochialism when you.
Yeah. But it's like I did the exact same thing. Remember when I was in year 10 or 11, I started reading about communism. I was like, yeah, it's a fucking answer. Like this is why isn't more people doing this? Why is this not a thing? And then like you read into it, and 3 years later, I'm like, I get it. I know. I understand it, but
yeah, that's a thing.
I don't think it's the answer for society.
A question was raised and it was answered through you being truly informed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, why is your initial question was why has no one noticed this? Your answer was reading stuff that made you.
And the answer was
because, bro,
what I did.
If I wasn't informed and I randomly read Marx or Engels or whoever of that era, I would be very enticed if I didn't have any. If I was ill informed on the political landscape and what certain economic structures mean.
Yeah.
Like I would be very intrigued. There's lots of people who are Marxists at kind of the age you were, and our age now, to be honest.
Yeah, well, there's a lot, eh?
Heaps of people.
There's a lot.
Like I've met a fair few. Would you call Greens voters socialists?
I feel like some would be. Not all. I wouldn't say they're a socialist party. I wouldn't put it that way.
Socialist. Yeah, I don't think.
They're social democrats, I would say.
Bob Cutter's more like the Socialist Party.
Yeah, he's the proper commie.
He's an economic socialist.
Yeah.
That's why I only like to perceive the horizontal axis of the political compass only in economic terms, because it's like, you know, if someone's has xenophobic views and homophobic views, but simultaneously they think all the means of production should be owned by the state and all corporations should be nationalised. Like, they're economically left. It doesn't matter if they have the opposing social views. It should be like perceived like another scale of the spectrum. It should
be two sections.
Yeah, yeah. There's it's like progressive to conservative.
Yeah,
that's usually how people perceive left and right.
Yeah,
progressive and conservative. I reckon all that. I reckon getting caught between one or the other is just pro-people's bullshit to me. But you meet people who are like, yeah, I'm a righty. It's like, mate, are you like serious, bro? Like, the same if someone calls himself a lefty as well. I think. It's just still like.
At our age, like, have you really? What's your life experience, mate? Where do you get these political views? Like, what?
Yeah, I know. Look, I know.
Where's this coming from? What's happened in your life?
Bro, I've met a lot of people.
18 years old.
And I think they're pretty well off.
Well off the mark.
But. Yeah, they've come out the mansion one day and decided that Marx is the cure for all the world.
But the problem is that they always think they're right. But I don't think, with politics, I don't think there is a right. There's shit you do that people agree with and there's shit you do that people don't agree with. I don't think there's a right ideology. I don't think there's a right ideology.
Like, conforming to like one side of the political spectrum is just stupid. It's so narrow-minded, it's so naive. You should create decisions outside of the realm of your own politics. Yeah. Obviously, there's corruption that plays a massive role in politics. Probably in Australia, well, it almost definitely does in Australia, but more so like overseas.
But the thing is, a lot of people wouldn't associate me with this, but I actually believe in working hard and making your own money. I hate taking handouts and shit from Centrelink and stuff like that. At the same time, I don't say I'm a right wing. I just believe you make your own money, you get your own money, you spend that money how you deem necessary. A lot of my money goes to the wrong shit where it shouldn't be going, but it's my decision, man. That's my money. I've worked hard, I've earned that money.
Okay. So
I'll fucking flip some burgers and got some cash. So I'll spend it on what I deem necessary, mate.
Exactly, mate. So the succeeding question from that is, when you were let's say, have you ever received money from the government? You don't have to say yes, no.
I'm gonna try though. That's for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna try and get that workers comp thing.
But at the same time,
you feel like they're
work hard for that money. I would love to rip the government off and steal all their money at the same time. So it's like, you know what I mean? I can't really have a opinion then, because I want to work hard and make my own money. But if the government's gonna offer me $500 for sitting on my ass. Thank you very much, son. Thank you very much.
This is the thing about welfare states.
Yeah.
It's why these are the prevailing attitudes which make full welfare states with no external incentive. often pretty regressive and subvert their original purpose. US and Australia in particular.
Yeah.
Obviously the socialist systems and UBI and everything's working well in Scandinavia, but that's because they've controlled all the variables.
Exactly.
It's done very well.
What do you mean by that?
I think, well, if you look at their migration and you understand that their migration is very small compared to other nations like
As
in Europe.
The actual immigrants they get,
Their
or
intake, their
what they
intake.
let in. Yeah, so you could argue that's pretty on the right of if you want to really get into it. That's a pretty not letting immigrants into your country is a pretty right leaning.
Yeah, exactly.
But they obviously aren't right. They're very to the left.
But do you know why? The reason why they don't have much like intake and migration is so that their socialist system can be like equitable and it can like work.
Well, it's kind of the same reason that they never let anyone out of the Soviet Union and barely let anyone in.
It's pretty crazy.
Because they want to keep their... They have something they deem's working. They don't want to fuck that around with outsiders coming in.
Exactly. They want to make sure the variables are controlled.
Which I can get, I understand that. Why you
Soviet Union, bro. Yeah, it was just like... I don't know. With the Soviet Union, it's kind of just like... I think it's a little bit hypocritical that a lot of socialists and stuff try and call capitalists... they try and call capitalism and imperialism like inextricably connected. But like, if you look at the Soviet Union, what they were doing with the Eastern Bloc, and full declining other states' right to have democracy, to an extent where they have to full revolt in order to get a desirable outcome for the greater society of that state, particularly the Baltic states, where those were like the last Eastern Bloc states to kind of crumble, became individual states. Estonia, Lithuania and Latvia.
Well, Belarus is still... They're still
A
under a
nation.
dictatorship.
Yeah.
But they're not... I don't think... Are they communist, Belarus?
I'm trying to remember.
They definitely have a dictator. The guy's been in power for almost 30
I'd
years.
say I think it might be an autocracy.
Yeah.
I think it might be like your classic kind of right wing autocracy, maybe.
Right. Bro, what about... Have you read about Turkmenistan? Weird fucking country.
Uzbekistan,
Turkmenistan.
Turkmenistan.
Yeah.
Is that a one of the Russian states?
I think
The
it
south?
was. I think it originally was.
Like near where Khabib's from?
Part of the Soviet Union. Somewhere, yeah, I think so.
I'm trying to remember what the. That's like a weird part. It's like
It's, bro, their leader's weird. And they have a... So their... like, capital city has no pet... No one lives there. There's no living in the capital city.
In where?
In Turkmenistan.
No one lives in the.
So there's a parliament house and everything, and the streets all nice and stuff, but no one lives there in the capital city. How fuck's
Why?
that? Because they want to keep it clean, because it's where the leaders lives.
But there's no houses or anything.
So no, I think it's a full city, but no. I'll have to check. I don't want to bullshit, but no one lives there. So it's just like a clean city, pretty much made out for the leader. I will look it up. I don't want to fucking spread misinformation. But yeah, it's interesting. Very interesting.
Very interesting.
If it is true, if I'm not talking smack.
No one lives there, you don't reckon, mate?
I do believe, mate. I do believe. Here we go. Oh, can't find it. Yeah. I want to get this right. Turkmenistan. Empty city. There we go. Here we are. After Turkmenistan gained independence from the Soviet Union in 1991, Ashgabat experienced a second birth, today, which is the main city. Today, modern Ashgabat is jokingly called the City of the Dead because it is impossible to see people in the new districts of white marble. That's crazy.
Districts of white marble, what's that?
So they made all the town out of white marble, really expensive shit.
That's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
So no one can live there.
I think that's the rule.
That's crazy, bro. It's not a city then.
The city holds the Guinness Book of Records for most white marble on Earth. So just weird. Like some of these like dictatorship countries are just, you just think,
crazy.
What the like this leader's like, what's he smoking, mate?
Pretty mental, bro.
Give me some of that shit. He's on the White Widow or some shit, mate. It's ridiculous. Even Belarus.
Yeah, Belarus, they gained their independence in I think it was 1991.
Yeah, probably the same.
That's kind of, yeah, that was like, I can't remember in like where Belarus fell in the Eastern Bloc.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Obviously there was heaps of tension being created over East and West Germany. But you know, back in the day, my dad with his band made a song about the Berlin Wall falling.
Really?
Yeah, how funny is that?
Well, like, for it, like,
when it fell down, it's like a song about the wall.
For it or against it, or it's not really have a view. It's more just
it's
what
like
happened.
just about like it's like a story about freedom and shit.
Fuck, it's classic.
Yeah, it's
Old
pretty.
Kenny. Bro,
It's
so
still AOR.
Belarus president Alexander Lukashenko.
Yeah, Lukashenko. Yeah.
Since 1994.
Yeah, how crazy is that, bro?
That's cracked. And the Turkmenistan leader. He was in the office for 15 years.
Wait, bro, how funny is this list of presidents of Belarus? You think, yeah, since 1994, there's probably been a few.
It's one. That's cracked. You know what they call them, mate? They call them banana republics. Like the dictator. Yeah, it's the same.
pretty...
You know, I read about Muammar Gaddafi.
Nah, who's
Libya.
that?
He was a pretty crack bloke. Bro, so the thing is Borat, what's his name? Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yeah.
He actually based a dictator off a lot of like dictatorships that have happened in like the Middle East and in Africa and shit. Some of them are just peculiar, like they'd have like massive orgies, like 10 chicks at a time.
Yeah, pretty crazy.
Like, imagine if Scott Morrison,
just a fat power
imagine
trip.
if he was caught having an orgy with like 10 other chicks. It would just be like,
and if anyone comments on it, he like put them to
yeah,
death.
exactly. Stained on to death or something.
Some crazy shit. The
There's
dictator.
no freedom. And the thing is with Gaddafi is that there was a big revolution because they had a dickhead before him.
Yeah,
And then he got in power, so everyone was really hopeful. And then fucking 10 years later, he's still in power. 20 years later, still dicking the country. And then I think he was in power for almost 42 years or something.
This is the dynamics of power, mate. There's revolts are inevitable. And
Power, mate. Read that quote on the wall. Jimi Hendrix. When the love of power overcomes the power of love. No. When the power of love overcomes the love of power, then the world will know peace. Up on the roof. It's true, mate. 100%.
Actually, it's true.
From one of the greats, Jimi Hendrix.
I was listening to Jimi Hendrix this morning, actually.
Really?
This is some Access Folders Love, bro. So good.
Fucking that good. We got a record.
What's your
We'll watch my
favourite Jimmy
record
album?
later. Probably Volume 2. The Experience Volume 2. It's pretty good.
Classic, bro.
Pretty decent, bro. Nonetheless.
All the Jimmy stuff's pretty fantastic.
It is, mate. It's lovely.
Do you like Electric Ladyland, Boags?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad.
It's quite long, but I reckon it's very good. I reckon it serves
Jimmy,
its
mate.
purpose.
About
What's the longest album you've listened to, Oscar?
I couldn't give you album. I could give you song.
The longest song, yeah.
You're gonna have one more fucked. I'm gonna say 12 minutes. My song, Wild Eyes by Santana.
Wild Eyes. How long is it?
It's 12 minutes.
Right.
What's your longest? If you say like 2 hours, I'm walking out.
I'll actually have a look. Have a look.
Is it around an hour?
We'll see.
I just couldn't listen to the same.
Well, no, because bro, it's not the same song for
Do you
2.5
listen to
hours.
Santana?
I think I've listened to one of his projects.
Bro, how crazy is that at Woodstock?
Yeah, bro.
1969. So the story was that he They thought they had 10 hours to get on the stage, so he thought if I take acid now, I'll be right by the time we get on.
Yeah.
What's his name? Bob Dylan gave it to him. Yeah, how fried's that? And within 2 hours, some big bloke comes up to me and goes, "You need to go on stage right now, otherwise you're not going to play." So they're all... Bro, and the video's classic. It's ridiculous. So Santana in the video thinks his guitar's turning into a snake. So he's holding it on, his eyes are closed. He's just like moving his head around, just has no idea what's going on. And then the drummer as well, what's his name? Michael Shreve. And Neil Sean, who's also on the guitar. Yeah, and you can see in the video he's wrestling with the guitar. He's like trying to stop it and shit. It's fucked. He's like trying to wrestle it, trying to get the snake to stop moving. He thinks his bloody guitar's a snake. And then there's another guy, David Brown. He's like a black dude. He looks like a sick cunt. He died in 2000. But he's like the one, he's completely sober, so he's like keeping it together. He's like trying to get everyone to like stay in tune. Because obviously they're tripping balls by this time. 2 hours into a trip, you'd be fucked.
Yeah, well.
But somehow they all keep it together, and the music is just ridiculously good. Like, I don't know how they kept it together. I could not have done that. Ridiculous.
Done very well.
They're doing this. They got the tongue out, eyes closed, tongue out, and trying to get the fucking right chords. And they nail it, bro. They do so. Oh, the music is ridiculous.
Classic scenes at Woodstock, bro.
Would have been a good event to go to.
I would love to have seen Neil Young at Woodstock.
Hey, or Jimmy played the Star Band.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. That's crazy.
Star Spangled Banner.
Bro, that would be send so many shivers down your spine. Surely, bro. Obviously,
no,
we perceive it.
The best ever.
We perceive it in like a historical context. But I swear, if we were there, surely they would just send bloody goosebumps up our arms.
There's never gonna be another like Woodstock, you know.
Yeah, just there'll never exist a time where that can happen.
Too many laws and rules now.
Yeah, that was like one of the last times in society I reckon something like that could have prevailed.
Just loose, didn't have to pay a cent. You just went, listen to music for days, bro.
So good, but now everything's corporatized.
The whole 60s would have been.
I've been mad being alive then. I'm very happy and I understand the living conditions now better than they were then.
Yeah.
Because of the medical advancements and everything, but it would have been a very interesting time living in the 60s.
It would have been trappers back in the day, mate.
Trappers?
Yeah.
You reckon, mate?
Would have trapped around.
Trapped around, yeah. Cooked up the fucking... At the Pyrex, you reckon, mate?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Nah, but,
It would have been a very interesting time, mate. Anyway, time for another beer, you reckon? Let's go, bro.
We should just chill here, like, for ages and, just listen to Neil Young and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just kick on with that.
Dame tu cosita, dame tu cosita, ay, dame tu cosita, dame tu cosita.
We're just trying to get in contact with Murphy. The Murph Meister.
Spam Meister.
It's not very nice, mate.
Sorry.
This bloke, he's useless.
Murph, mate.
If you're listening to this, mate, if you're listening to this podcast right now, not very happy with you. But look, we're going to try one more time just because we reckon you're a nice man. Look, I don't care how many shifts you have at Domino's, alright? You pick up the phone with them.
Yeah, it's phone a friend, mate. Stop marking around.
Mate, yeah, okay, so we've got Dom Murphy on the line now. First of all, I should greet you gracefully. How are you, mate?
Wait, Murph, we're on the podcast, mate.
Oh, we're on the podcast?
Yeah, mate.
Yeah.
Oh. Hey, is that
Meg, if you
Meg?
could just be quiet. Like.
Murph, we've got a question for you.
Hey, we're just talking about DMT and its relationship to the body, mate. Obviously, we haven't done any science courses. Actually, Meg's into the STEM field as well, so she might know a little bit as well. We're just talking about DMT and its relationship to the body and relationship to death in particular. What do you know yourself about that, or are you not very well versed in those kind of fields? I imagine you would be.
What was the question? You dropped out.
Just talking about DMT's relationship to the body and particularly death. Like, what do you know about that?
Pretty much fuck all. I don't really know much about it.
Thanks, mate.
Cheers,
Thanks,
mate. Cheers, mate. Yeah, I've just called you on. I've given you the hotline on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, and you've completely failed me here, mate. Just left me out in the open, mate. Sitting duck, lad. on the podcast, mate. This is live as well, by the way. So
Wait, Murph,
no racial slurs, mate. Otherwise, you'd be censored.
have you heard of this bloke Barry Lambert?
Nah, is that?
So his daughter had like seizures when she was 2 months old,
Yeah.
and within a few months, so the dad Barry Lambert, he got CBD, like oil and hemp oil, and started putting it like in her food and shit. And within 2 months, the seizures were virtually gone. But he donated $33.7 million to the Lambert Initiative for Cannabinoid Therapeutics at the Uni of Sydney, mate, at your home ground. Did you know about this, mate?
You fucking dropped out again just as you asked your question, but I heard a bit about Barry Lambert.
Yeah, did you hear he donated $33.7 million?
Is that for like researching?
To the Sydney of Uni for the
CBD?
Lambert Initiative of Cannabinoid Therapeutics.
That's sick.
Where do you make all this money? Fucking hell, he's bored.
Oh, he's like a
He has a
massive...
trap house.
He's a... I think he's a
He's trapped in the
investment
CBD
broker.
house,
Like,
mate.
he's just really good at what he does.
Free market capitalist.
Right, and do you know what he
I
said?
can't hear what he's saying. The audio's too shit.
Should we leave him to it?
Yeah, all right, we'll leave you to it, mate. Have fun, yeah.
See you,
No,
see you
we're just
Meg.
kidding. Yeah, look, we'll get Murph on another episode of the pod when it's a bit.
Oh, he'll be on at a later time, don't you worry.
Yeah, just make sure when we ask you questions about stuff that you should know about, make sure you don't make yourself look like an
Yeah,
idiot.
read
All
some
right.
fucking books, mate.
Yeah, read some books, mate. See what's out there in the world. All right. I'll talk to you soon, mate. I'll make a trip down to Wally pretty soon. All right. Goodbye. Be up. All right, lads. Yeah.
Bro, but how crack's that? So he was told
Yes.
there was two problems. He questioned the government, Australian government, on why hemp, not marijuana, not CBD, hemp, which you can make and create stuff with.
Yeah.
Why it's illegal in Australia, and the reason he got two reasons back: the protection of the poppy industry in Tasmania,
That's far.
and the second
It's all
reason was
corrupt, bro.
the influence of Big Pharma within the political system. Those were
Yeah,
the two
exactly.
reasons
Big
he
Pharma,
got.
bro.
But they just admitted to it. Like, they just said, "Fucking, that's why it's not legal because we got
Big Pharma's so
too much money
bro.
in the game."
It's, like, still quite so in Australia, but in the States especially,
Yeah, it's much
the
more.
pharmaceutical companies, bro, they profit off some pretty terrible
But
things.
and then the thing is, once pot's legalised, they're gonna move and they're gonna be like, "Ooh, pot's."
They're going to monopoly the industry.
Yeah, pot's it's a medicine. I've said it's not a medicine for 60 years. All of a sudden it is. So now I'm going to cash in. I'm going to make.
Yeah, exactly. They're nothing for. They have no respect for the culture or anything that's come from. It's just a money maker. This is the problem I have with.
Disrespect.
This is the problem I have with like some music, bro. Because behind these big artists on $1 million label deals, multi-million-dollar label deals, they have guys in suits standing behind them, puppeting them.
Yeah.
You see guys like Ed Sheeran. I think he could be doing very well because he is talented, but like he doesn't have the individual freedom to make whatever he wants because he's on a contract.
So he.
Well,
Yeah,
I think labels have a lot of influence, more influence than we'd like to admit, on the artist music that they make, especially the big ones, the ones that are like kind of a pawn of a larger corporation. So like Sony.
Yeah.
Sony have done some pretty terrible things to artists. Warner, they're another one that's been pretty poor to artists. But all the shout out to all the labels that are doing good things for the artists, both financially and just with their lives and improving their living standards. Especially like you get good labels like Death Row. I've completely forgot every label just then. Like Warp, Moax, Deep South.
But they're more.
Golden Era.
They want you to make your own music.
Yeah, they're more like a I don't want to say libertarian, but they're more like a libertarian.
Yeah, right.
Like if you make something, well, because that's the thing, bro. Like all the big labels try and copy all these big formulas, so they can ultimately reap profits because there's just like a certain relationship our brain has with music where it's like.
Right, and do you reckon the general population, I don't want to say they like shit music, but...
Yeah, it's frozen hamburger music that can be recycled. That's what it is.
Read the one Ed Sheeran, I think it was Divide, that was pretty average. I like Ed Sheeran, I like his old stuff,
but I didn't really vibe with that. Like, that was not a...
Terrible.
Was it? What are the musos
Like,
say?
I think...
Did they say it was a pretty bad album?
I like Ed Sheeran's The Bird. It's actually okay. It's better.
I don't mind Ed Sheeran, but I thought his last...
X onwards is pretty... Or Multiply X, whatever the fuck. And from there onward, I think the businessman knew where the cash was after his initial release. So
you reckon that was the label? That you don't reckon that was...
Well, it's... A lot of these things happen as a result of label control and just like... I don't think X might have been more a personal thing for him, but I don't believe Multiply was like an attempt at art. You know, that thing is... It's almost as boring as...
What, Shape of You, I'm trying to remember... Castle on the Hill, not a fan?
Bro. It's just like, again, it's like frozen hamburger music, bro, and it's just like, made strategically.
For the listeners out there, when it comes to music, Lincoln's my man. Not putting pressure on you, but Blake knows his shit, I'll tell you that much. I will tell you that much.
No, but I think, like, this has been transpired through heaps of artists who've come out the industry and just broken a contract. Bro, so many labels are evil.
Yeah.
Especially overseas, like East Asia, like the J-pop and K-pop scenes, especially K-pop. There's some documentation of J-pop, like
really
label abuse, but more K-pop. It's terrible, bro.
But yeah, South Korea is pretty. They're very hard capitalists.
Libertarian right.
Hard, bro. Hard.
Libertarian right. Make that bread, bro.
Yeah, it's crap because when obviously when Korea split, the North Koreans were doing a lot better for the first probably 20 years until the 70s or the 80s. And then technology came, bro, and then they were in the fucking wind. North Korea.
Yeah, technology left pretty much...
Now they're miles behind in terms of the economy and stuff.
Technology left a lot of states behind because obviously everything was industrialised and the kind of... It wasn't very flexible to implementing new technology. So
hard to get
that's why the tradition, like kind of the more diverse economic fields prevailed over the fully industrialised systems of the Soviet Union, obviously North Korea and Cuba and Venezuela. I was doing some research the other day. Pretty much all accounts say that Venezuela is the most dangerous country in Latin America.
Really?
In South America, rather. I think Mexico's more dangerous. I think Mexico has the most dangerous city in the world, or most dangerous place.
Because they had a tie with Cuba, and obviously all the stuff that's going on in Cuba right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, obviously the Cuban economy is obviously fucked because the embargo, which is what they always put it on, the Soviet Union collapsing, a lot of bad stuff have happened, right? But then recently... because they used to provide cheap oil in exchange for doctors, teachers and other advisors. Venezuela did to Cuba. However, recently, Venezuela's facing their own economic crisis under their socialist leader.
Well, do you know much about the Venezuelan economy?
No, I don't.
So, I'm not going to turn this into a full 20-minute thing. I'll just explain it briefly. So, pretty much what ended up happening with Venezuela is... Their whole economy was propped up on like an abundance of natural resources.
Which is the case for a lot of communist countries, pretty much all communist countries.
Russia has I think the greatest abundance in recent history of... exactly. But even like in proportion to like their size, they're rich. Yeah. They were so rich of natural resources. And all that kind of thing. I'm just trying to find the exact... With Venezuela, that was just a statistic. Yeah. So they were pretty much propped up on, natural gas, iron ore, gold, diamonds and other minerals. So once those natural resources became scarce, it was literally sitting up on a prop. And eventually, there was nothing like that. There was no economic incentives past that, and it eventually just created hyperinflation. So ultimately, they provided welfare for the whole state. That happens
in a lot of communist countries, no?
What is
Socialist countries. That happens a lot in... That's probably one of the main flaws of socialism.
Sorry, what does?
The fact hyperinflation. Because once you run out of your own natural resources and you have no trade with other countries...
You don't really have a choice.
What do you do then? You're fucked.
You don't really have a choice. Yeah.
And a lot of... Well, obviously North Korea, they're going to run out of natural resources one day, They have no trade with any other fucking country. I don't know if they have trade with China.
They don't.
They don't.
So China still have an embargo.
So they don't have a
on North
trade
Korea.
with anyone.
So that's what they attribute their economic failure to as well. North Korea's economy is a sad story.
Right.
In recent history, it's a sad story. From what
I
I've
was
read,
looking at. I saw a video the other day.
they rarely supply electricity to houses.
Yeah.
They have literally the government has no
They
choice.
spend all their money on military.
Yeah, the government has no choice but to open the market more, to free up the market.
They were
Otherwise,
talking about doing that in North Korea.
yeah, that's what they got.
Did they do that in the end? Did that happen?
I think that they have, but they haven't like proactively done it.
Yeah.
They've just let it slide.
Yeah, right.
So they see people selling food on the side of the street, and it's like, you know what? It's either that or you don't eat. So
Right.
well, they have done some positive things, but in proportion to
The negatives.
yeah, I think it far outweighs.
It's an interesting country, bro. North Korea. So I'd love to go there. I'd love to visit there.
It's a dichotomy because, you know, if you create wealth for everyone, wealth stops being created. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
I feel, in my opinion, I think that's a fundamental flaw with like hard leftism, right? As much as there's many flaws with like hard capitalism as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've got to find a middle ground.
Anything, yeah. It's hard, bro. It's hard.
It's very hard. Well, I guess the
Like
paradox
it needs to be a new ideology or some shit.
yeah, well, I guess the contemporary Western world has tried to adopt, well, at least Australia and, you know, some of the UK, obviously, and obviously the Nordic states.
Right.
Well, less so the Scandinavian states, but more so UK and Australia. We create wealth to distribute to everyone, but we integrate that very heavily. It's like we're pro-capitalist, but we're like pro-welfare at the same time. I think that's the best system we have. It's not obviously it's not perfect. It's not ideal, but I think economic inequality can only be solved. Well, economic equality can be achieved, but there's only so long to achieve.
I feel like it can almost never be achieved.
I don't think it can ever be.
Yeah.
Okay, so what I meant was among the middle class.
Right.
So
yeah,
economic equality can be achieved between you
Blokes
and me.
like you and me, yeah.
Obviously, hierarchy. This is what I was saying yesterday. The hierarchies always prevail. The individual behaviours and the individual greed and selfishness of the people living in these hard leftist states doesn't change. It's not like they're new people with a new communist.
Yeah, it's not like they
revolution.
abolished the
Exactly.
social
Not everyone's
classes.
changes it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think there was. I'm trying to think of the dictators who were on very high payrolls as leader.
Idi Amin,
Of which state was he?
he was... Where was he? Uganda or Rwanda, I think. I think it was Uganda.
Some of Central Africa.
Yeah.
Kind of
Where was
north.
Idi Amin? But he was a psycho. He was almost worse than Pol Pot.
Actually, haven't heard.
Yeah,
of him.
Uganda. Idi Amin. He was late, I think he was in the 70s, yeah, 71 to 79. He's considered one of the most brutal despots in world history.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. Some of those countries...
I feel bad for Uganda. We used to donate to kids in Uganda.
You did? Oh, your family? Really?
Pretty sad country, bro.
It's very sad. I wonder what their leader's
Well,
like now.
Was he responsible for the part of the child rebel stuff as well? I don't know much about it.
Not sure.
Because obviously there's a massive thing with that's like the main threat posed to kids like.
And that's the thing, once you get rid of blokes like this, you really worry with these like kind of less economic, worse economies than a lot of Western countries. Is that once you take over a bloke like this, who goes in power? Like, they could be fucking anyone. That's what happened. I was saying with Gaddafi before, because there was a big revolution because they hated the president, and then Gaddafi won. His military won the revolution, and then he got in power. Everyone's so hopeful, they're so prepared for the future, and 40 years later, the bloke's still in charge.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You know what I mean?
These leaders are, but
so
they
you could take over these blokes, but who are you putting in power then?
Yeah, I guess that was the whole thing with the Soviet Union when Lenin died.
Yeah.
It's reported on many accounts that Lenin said, "Don't let Stalin lead."
Yeah, that was well
and he
documented.
ended up doing. I think it is very well documented.
We obviously see almost predicted the future. Old Lenzi.
I think Lenin's probably one of the better communist leaders.
Yeah.
He
still did his. He still had violent. Still did violent shit.
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah. He was vehement. Yeah, and he was he was certainly an interesting person.
But I feel like
think he represents a lot of good things as well. I don't believe I don't believe that Stalin was as charitable, but I think Lenin was, for a lot of the part. I think his story is an interesting one.
I think people view, it's almost not about how many or how they were killed. It's who you kill. So a lot of people have respect for Lenin because he didn't kill your average farmer or your average worker. He killed rich Russians. They were part of an autocracy. So I feel like people were less hard on him because the people were rich. You know what I mean? And they didn't struggle. Because
you saw the demise of...
It's not like he went after the average
monarchy
workers.
of Russia. That was crazy.
So people are a lot less likely to...
People were dying.
A lot easier to forgive him.
People were starving to death, and they were still exporting like 1/3 of their food resources and stuff. How crazy is that?
That is crap.
Making heaps.
That was more during an early Stalin though, wasn't it? Or was that?
No, that was before. That was a monarchy, bro.
Oh right, before even the revolution.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but in the monarchy, there was obviously food shortages at the back end of the Soviet Union.
At the very start. The very start was the worst. That was the worst of it.
Towards the
early
back end,
30s.
Towards the back end, it wasn't good either.
Yeah.
But I guess early and then late as well. What do you reckon was the best decade in that?
I'd probably say after Stalin died.
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of 1955 to 1975, and then I think it kind of...
He died right after the Korean War.
Went after that. I think he died in 53, Stalin.
The Korean War ended in 50. I think.
Oh, fuck. When did the Korean War end? Stalin died in 53.
I think the Korean War definitely ended in 53. Not definitely, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So he died just after.
Yeah, he died just after.
Oh no, just before it ended.
Yeah, it was right at the time.
Right.
I think everything was pretty much settled in the Korean War before Stalin died, though.
No one really won that war either.
No,
so
it was just
Vietnam.
another.
No
But
one really
it did
won
play an interesting future role because after that, it meant South Korea backed the Americans in Vietnam. The South Koreans actually had an underrated impact on that war. They were actually very prolific. War. Yeah, the South Koreans.
Because of their relationship.
They were there proportionally longer than the US. So they had more soldiers there for longer than the US, which kind of says something. It's interesting.
They would have seen communism though as well in the North.
Exactly.
North
Korea. They would have perceived it as tyrannous.
Yeah.
And obviously they were trying to... It's pretty bit I guess the argument always is from people who are more left leaning. But it's just an antagonism and it was a response.
Yeah.
And what else are they supposed to do? But I think there's often times where these socialist states tend to antagonise it's not like a fucking... Communist leaders never tried to walk into another country.
Oh yeah.
It happens all the time.
Happens with both any ideology.
Pretty much does. Well, not in the West. Actually, it does happen in the West if you're considering America. But they're not as they're not proper imperialists. They're
You don't reckon the US are?
Oh, they are.
Oh yeah.
I'm not saying that they're not proper imperialists. They're not British imperialists where they're just going random places. But they still are imperialists. How much of a problem that is, I guess that's for the
imperialists for the contemporary world, for what's happening right now. I would say.
Do I reckon they're not imperialists?
Do you reckon they're not?
Today, yeah, I still think they're imperialists to an extent, but they're not you imperialists you got in the 16th century.
Right. Yeah, but the thing was back then, a lot of countries haven't been discovered, so they almost had a right.
No one knew it was there because there's obviously a growing community of globality.
Yeah.
Do you reckon globality's a word? We'll say if it's not a word, I'm sorry everyone.
Globalism is the same thing.
Let's just say the globality or the interconnection, the interconnection of the whole European community.
Yeah.
I guess that was kind of a growing, and then with the old world in Asia and all the China and everything, and then the new world the Americas. It's just interesting to see how.
What were you gonna say?
No, but obviously all those states existed, but Australia obviously hadn't been discovered yet. So
Yeah.
So they were in a position where they felt like they had a right. As far as they're concerned, no one lived there.
Yeah, the way they saw it was like, this is free land.
I think as much as the British colonisation of Australia was tyrannous, I think there are far more tyrannous examples of colonisation where
not saying
the
it was
state
good,
actually...
Not saying it was
I'm not, mate,
right.
I'm not saying it was right at all.
Yeah.
No way, shape or form. But there were definitely worse ones. Not to underestimate how bad the Australian one was. It was pretty...
Even Cuba was pretty bad.
Cuba was pretty bad.
I was reading about it the other day. They were the main...
Because the reason I say that about the Australian colonisation is pretty much because the English obviously didn't know there was anything here.
Yeah.
But I think with the intention to go to another country knowing there's other people occupying it. And then...
The Spanish, though, they're...
But
underrated.
no colonisation is ever justified by any means.
But I reckon France and Spain, they don't get talked about enough.
Yeah, but that was kind of before like the British.
Yeah.
It was kind of like happening during like at the back end of when the American Revolution was happening. I'm trying to remember the years.
Like 1600s.
Yeah. The Spanish was still in the 1600s. That was still.
But they're barely even talked about. France are in Africa especially.
Yeah, they still have actually states in Africa.
Yeah. Do you reckon it's bad? Do you reckon imperialism's necessarily a bad thing?
Well, if there's other people that want that land.
Yeah.
If there's indigenous tribes and people or whoever belonging to the given land.
But if you say
that,
that,
you think deserves that.
Australia should just give their land to Aboriginals then? You know what I mean? Like
it's very different. I don't know.
Do you just give the land back to the people who...
How can you do that though? We leave? How can you do that?
You literally can't.
Unless we all...
You give them the power, they're probably going to try to kick us out, which is respectable because it's pretty much what we try to do in the 20th century.
Yeah, we're trying to work towards reconciliation.
So I don't know, Aboriginals, they might want to learn to live with us.
But surely the food's almost here.
Yeah, we're getting some bit of guzzi, respect to guzzi. I'm keen.
Whipping up a good feed all the time.
Supposed to be in about 15, mate.
Fantastic.
But yeah, I just don't think the French and the Spanish get talked about enough.
Who else do you reckon gets talked about enough?
Oh, they're my main two. Britain I feel like it's talked about
Union.
enough. Yeah, Soviet Union. Because a lot of modern day communists are like anti-imperialist, but they were pretty. Well, they won. They obviously won the war on the Eastern Front, and then they were just like, okay, this is us now. Yeah, I was like, yeah, okay. You didn't see anything. Yeah. This is now Soviet. And then the Afghanistan war, and the Taliban came from that. That's what I mean by like it's an after effect. We're still feeling the effect. The Taliban started literally because of the Cold War.
I don't think
Soviet Union, America backed the Taliban. They were created. We still have the problems today with them.
I reckon the Taliban would not have been nearly as prolific this century if not for the deeds of Russia. No, of Russia.
Of Russia?
Because, bro, you understand that all the guns and all the weaponry and everything that the Taliban own is largely a result of like weapons and stuff gathered during that time when the Russians tried to invade Afghanistan.
Oh, like lost weapons and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Still in use. That's why a lot of them are able to be armed. Actually, well, the Taliban run a massive amount of the drug trade in Afghanistan as well. So probably wouldn't have any kind of...
Need to get some Afghan kush, man. That's some good stuff.
Have you? Have you had it?
I haven't had it, but I've heard very, very good things about it.
Yeah, I think that's one of like the origin countries of marijuana potentially. It's definitely like
Afghanistan
significant places. I think it's definitely there's a certain...
A lot of stuff does come from there.
I think there's a deep history or something there. But yeah, they run all the... the drug trade in the area, so they have an abundance of wealth, but they still use the AK-47s that they got from the Russians. I don't know if it's symbolic or...
They're left over. Interesting.
So it might obviously not all of them would be left over. No. There'd be some of them left over, but that's just like the remnants of that war that they still all use the AKs. The Taliban are undefeatable, I reckon.
You reckon?
Yeah, you can't... Well, they're guerrilla, bro, so...
Yeah, they're everywhere.
And you don't know who if you're looking at a Taliban or just a normal civilian.
They're everywhere, but they're nowhere, mate.
That's it.
That's
That's
the
crazy. When you get like, they're not armies, but they're just like groups.
Yeah. Guerrilla fighting is perfect when you want to fight when you have a big
Yeah,
enemy,
there's
when you have a
nothing
big
the
enemy.
there's nothing the invading state can do.
Yeah.
Do you reckon
It's hard.
the US's entry into Afghanistan was justified, and Australia's and the Allies, I suppose? I reckon it's more justified than like Iran, but still.
Yeah, more justified than Vietnam.
Yes, definitely,
For
100%.
sure, 100%.
Yeah.
But still, I just always question what's their motive. Why are they there? Why are they really there? Not what they fucking say why they're there. Why are you really there?
I want the oil, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
I want the oil.
It's all about the motive.
So this thing the other day, it's like Gordon Ramsay saying that he put so much oil in that plate that the US tried to invade it.
It's true, but
Yeah, legit.
the bloke's on the something.
That's
there,
literally
Gordon.
the whole scheme in the Middle East from the US was, I think, oil played a very major
Yeah,
part.
Iraq, yeah.
Iraq, yeah, that's it.
It was just an excuse to get in.
Yeah, oh yeah. We
Let's see.
free the. Literally everyone was against Bush when he announced war on.
Was there
Iraq.
anyone for him?
I don't think anyone was for him. Everyone was just like, mate, what are you doing?
It's crazy.
It's like the guy in the Oval that wants to fight everyone, you know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, that's the US. Thinks they're
US
bigger
is
than
like-
everyone.
Do you make eye contact with me, mate?
Yeah.
Yeah, have a go.
Like you and your
Have a
12,
go.
mate.
I colonise your country, yeah.
Like you, yeah.
Still, you have to, yeah, like me, yeah, that's right, yeah. You know me too well. I reckon we might wrap it up here.
Yeah, you might leave it to it.
We've rambled enough. How long have we rambled for, babe?
Mate, it's almost been, let's see here, almost 2 hours, hour 46 we've been going for, bruh. Pretty far done. But anyway, first podcast done and dusted. I'm genuinely pretty happy with what's gone down here. Whether you guys like it or not, you know, that's cool. I don't mind it either way. We've just done it for a bit of fun, bit of something to do during COVID, and hopefully it kicks on. Move on to bigger and better things. But for now, we'll sign out. Thank you, Lincoln Waller.
Nah, that's no worries. Bless all your families who's listening and all that. I hope you're doing well.
Yeah.
If you're not one that likes lockdown, hang in there, we'll be at it soon.
We will be done soon. Thank you, guys. I'll catch you shortly. Peace.